chance for that, for sure.
Hi, guys and gal. Donna Rose is there. Hello.
Hello,
Neil,
hello. Hello,
Mike,
everybody.
Sam. I think that's everyone. Captain Nick is here. He's just stepped away for a moment. And then AJ will be joining us. Dr. Steph is otherwise occupied, as is that Camacho guy. Anyway, we missed all y'all.
Yeah, it was kind of weird not having a show last week. But I do appreciate everybody's indulgence for allowing me to visit with my long-lost family.
They hadn't disowned you? They actually accepted you back into the family again?
They had to, because, legacy.
You can always go home. We're live, Captain Nick.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I have to stop swearing. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, I just was giving a bit of a warning there and tried to be subtle, but I wasn't.
Who we got? Hi, Mike, Neil.
Mike, Neil, Donna Rose, and Sam.
Sam Bolog. Hi, Sam. And then there's a bunch of airline pilot guys.
I know. Who are all those people?
Look at all those airline pilot guys.
Yeah, 4 of them.
So we've accumulated a lot of interesting news, and we have a plain tale, and we have a lot of feedback. So we probably won't
we're not going to get to all that for sure.
We aren't.
Got a
We're
lot
not going
of
to get
stuff.
to it all. I'm just warning everyone.
Don't
get mad at us.
Or a plane load of.
Don't get mad at us. We have a 747 freighter full of stuff.
Yes, we do. Okay, I'm going to start my recording so that I don't forget. Okay, the recorder's on there, and it is on there.
Stop swearing, put trousers on. Well, trousers aren't really necessary unless they stand up. And we hope they don't. Errant Traveler. Is that Tim Van Ram? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Or is that Tanya?
What's that picture in the Errant Traveler?
I don't know. I feel like we should know who it is, and we don't, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, who are you? Identify yourself.
Yes. No, sorry. Okay, so obviously we haven't landed
No,
on...
trust us. It's a good thing you're not.
Yes. Very good.
We're very happy.
Anyway, yeah, we got lots of stuff to talk about.
Don't tell TVR.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure he'll be here because he's sent in a couple of pieces of feedback. By the way, that one piece of feedback regarding the Airbus ship with the rotor thing, we
done that
we
before.
covered that. Yeah,
Thank you. Because when I was Greek person living in, thank you. Sorry.
The Greek person
yes.
lives in Wisconsin. Cool.
Yes.
Where in Wisconsin do you live, Kay?
Sorry, Kay. We went through this before.
Okay.
Yes, I thought we'd done that before, Jeff. As I was adding it, I thought that picture looks awfully familiar.
Yeah.
Obviously, Tim fails for not remembering that. Not that I remembered, but.
So if you're up in the Oshkosh area or on the way, south of there, and if you cook Greek cuisine, I would love to stop by and eat.
Jeff is inviting himself over.
I'm inviting myself. It's kind of rude of me to do that.
He has no shame. Jeff has no shame at all.
Oh, St. Croix Falls. Okay. Travel over Wisconsin, Minnesota. Okay, that's up toward the Minnesota border, I think, right?
Jeff was just up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But he wasn't in the
far
RV.
from there. I was in across the border in Lindstrom.
Boy, does that ever
Lindstrom.
sound like immigrant from the Nordic countries, Scandinavian.
Yeah, lots of Scandinavia-hooligans. Yeah, no, talking Neil Sam, Jeff has the week off. Suddenly there's a Middle East peace deal.
Yeah, that's where he was.
Well,
he's saying he was up in Lindstrom, Minnesota.
Are we on the air? Oh, shoot.
Lindstrom, Minnesota was his cover place. Neil, you've just blown it.
Lindstrom, also known as Iran.
Have you got the sand all shaken out of your shoes, Jeff,
Almost.
from being in the Middle East?
Yeah.
Okay, are we getting ready to go here soon?
Hang on a minute.
Oh.
I'm just putting a picture in to getting to know you.
Well, it's too late for that.
Oh no, it's not.
Do I have to
I
get
know, I'm
out
just
of?
kidding.
Do I have to get out of
I don't
Keynote?
know. Do you need to get out?
Yeah,
know.
otherwise it's not going to be reflected
Okay.
in what she's sharing.
All right, I just got out. It's all yours.
Out. She got out.
I just
Okay.
Out.
I just used my Martin Baker ejector seat out of Keynote.
Very good. How do I rotate an image in Keynote?
You don't want to hear a pilot say that. Really? How do I rotate? Do you?
Yeah,
Like,
Well, we do.
They're
We
going down
rotate
the-
every takeoff.
They're going down the runway and they're going, "How do I rotate?" That.
Oh
does
yeah, you don't want to hear him ask that
not
question. Good point.
engender a lot of
Yeah.
confidence.
How do I do that again?
How do I do that?
Yeah. Hey,
Do we have a rotate checklist or
rotate.
something?
Huh?
Huh?
What's that?
What's that?
What do you mean?
Turn around? Do I look the other way? What?
I don't know. You're
Jeff?
confusing me.
Jeff, you and I are amusing each other here.
We are.
Yeah.
We're very funny.
We are very.
I know
very-
what's funny is Craig. Our senses of humor are almost identical, which
Yeah.
means that he has an awesome sense of humor, of course.
course.
But he said he had such a great time with me because he said that normally most of what he says like goes over his head and people don't really laugh and so I was a
Oh,
great
so
audience.
you were a great audience.
Yeah.
This is your cousin Craig.
Yeah, my cousin Craig. And
I love
it was like, I knew exactly, every time he'd say something, I knew exactly what he was referring to. And, it was kind of like we
Too
were in
bad, too
sync.
bad you guys don't live closer. He's in the Portland area, correct?
Yeah. Portland / also somewhere in Washington because of his girlfriend,
Ah,
Heather,
Heather.
who I didn't meet because she wasn't there. But
But that's why you wouldn't meet her if she wasn't there.
exactly.
Uh-huh.
She refused to go with him because she said, "Oh, is that Jeff guy going to be there?"
Is that cousin of yours that you
Yeah,
try
that
and
cousin.
avoid going to be there? I understand.
I'm busy.
Heather sounds
Sorry.
like she's a very, very perceptive woman.
Yes.
Oh, Aaron Traveler says you'll have to work something out with the Greek food.
Damn right, errant traveler.
Jeff is always asking. He's got this friend now, an Indian friend, and he's always asking him to make him food and stuff too. He's just such a mooch.
I bet. Yes, that's me.
Uh-huh.
I've been giving that young man like rides everywhere.
I
in the
know.
RVS,
It's good.
and
You
I've
picked
been,
him
I've
up
been
at
a
the
really
airport.
nice guy.
You picked him up.
And
at
I
the
still feel
airport.
guilty about like he'll be cooking and then he'll be something. I'm thinking, it doesn't look like there's enough.
I'm
for
out.
Him
Thank
to
you.
share with me,
Yes,
but
Jeff went
I'll
and
just have
picked
a little bit.
his friend up at the Atlanta airport, like at what, 2 a.m. or something that night.
Yeah, well, by the time we got back home, it was about 2, or I got back home about 2 o'clock. But yeah, it was like after midnight, like 12. Well, yeah, it was just after midnight, but it took him forever to get out for the place to pick him up. And then he told me the wrong place, so then I had to go loop around
Well,
another
that
time
will
to
take
the other
that will
side
take
of the
forever
airport.
if you're in the wrong place.
Yep.
I'm ready.
Anyway. Are you? All right, so we don't have Radio Roger, so what we're going to
Nope.
do is I'm just going to do the thank you, like this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're going to fake it.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He's an award-winning blah, blah, blah.
New York City!
Yeah,
Got it.
okay.
So we won't do the countdown, will we do the countdown?
No,
No. Okay.
no need to do the countdown.
We'll just jump in.
There we go. I need to have that
Look
button.
on Captain Nick's face. He looks totally unimpressed
I'm
with
all
you.
set to go 712.
There you go. No, he's
Oh.
good.
Is that code for something?
Yeah.
I think so. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like
It's
squawking
like
7700.
420, except it's much stronger.
He's squawking 712. It means he wants to leave the podcast. That's what 712 means.
Ah, okay.
I've
Got
been
it.
squawking that for years.
Nobody's
Nobody's
listening.
Nobody's acknowledged.
No one pays the slightest bit of interest.
We're ignoring you there. No. Mm-mm.
Okay, are we ready? I guess.
Yeah,
Maybe?
ready.
All right. I got the recorders going just in case
Okay.
somebody missed it.
That's good.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He's an award-winning TV and radio reporter currently at the #1 all-news station in the nation, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in
New York City!
Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an aviation podcast covering the latest in aviation news. Imagine that. And answering your feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, former U.S. Air Force pilot and retired Delta Airlines captain for 35 years there. And also with me today from his Garden View studio,
in Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
a retired professional dog photographer, former RAF, RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. Good job, Virgin. It's Captain Nick.
Hello, Jeff, and hi there, Liz. APG 712. Let me take you back to April 1968. A BOAC, which stands for Better on a Camel, 707, had just got airborne from Heathrow bound for Sydney, Australia. 20 seconds later, Flight 712 suffered a catastrophic engine failure. While they were calling Mayday and trying to turn back to the airfield, the engine actually parted company with the airframe, and the damage to the wing meant that fuel poured from the blank spot where the engine used to be, and it soon ignited. So it was a good job. It only took them 3.5 minutes to get the stricken aircraft back on the ground, and an evacuation was ordered. Now, Barbara Jane Harrison was one of the last cabin crew seen on board. Her captain was shouting at her to jump from the doorway, but she turned back at the last minute to help a disabled passenger as the flames and smoke covered her escape path. Her body was found with the wheelchair passenger and 4 others who didn't make it off. She was only 22 years of age. Now, Queen Elizabeth II awarded her the George Cross posthumously, given for acts of the greatest heroism or the most conspicuous courage in extreme danger. Now, interestingly, I heard this story first from Concorde pilot John Hutchison when I interviewed him for PTUK and for our show for A Plain Tale, because he was a young acting first officer on the crew on that very flight.
Wow.
Small world, isn't it?
Wow, it is.
Very
Very
amazing.
good. Oh, it dawned on me when I finally started using my brain that 712 is kind of like the shorthand. Sometimes like a 737-800, they say 738. Well, 712 is the shorthand number for the 717-200.
Indeed, -200. But I knew that, and I thought to myself, well, is there going to be a -300, 713, and a 714, and a 715, and then we're eventually going to get to 717. But anyway, we're going to do 717 when we get to show number 717.
Yay.
Ooh,
Yay.
gosh, he gave it away. No one would have
shoot.
guessed.
Yeah.
Man.
Bad. Sorry about that. I'll have to do something different now then.
Nah, another crash.
Yes, more death.
All right.
Death and destruction.
Well, very good. Very good. Okay. Well, then now I think I should probably push this button right here and introduce our producer. It's Liz from her studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and again, our producer, Liz Piper.
Here I am from
Hi,
Toronto,
Liz.
Yay.
home of the World Cup. Well, one of like 20 homes, but anyway, here we are.
Yeah.
Not that I'm paying any attention to it, but
I'm actually paying a little bit of attention to it. It's
yeah.
been interesting so far.
I'm avoiding it like the plague.
Oh, is it because England's not in it or something?
No, we're in it. It's just
Oh.
it's not one of the sports I follow, which sets me to one side. I'm more a rugby and cricket man than
That's
I
right.
am a soccer.
have a good show, you guys.
Well, thank you. And we should be joined by AJ while in progress here when he gets back home. So let me push this button and let's do some news. Button. I do hear you. Oh, I always love hearing your dulcet tones.
Stand by for news.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, this first one just happened. I think, what, yesterday? A B-52 bomber crashed at Edwards Air Force Base in California. 8 people on the jet perished. The aircraft burst into flames on Monday morning shortly after takeoff from Edwards, an official said. The cause is still under investigation. It took off, and immediately after takeoff burst into flames. Colonel James Hayes, deputy commander at the 412th Test Wing, said at an afternoon news conference. He called the crash a horrible tragedy that had claimed the lives of 8 great Americans. He said the plane, a B-52 Stratofortress, was supporting a test for a radar modernization program, and its crew included members of the military and civilians, some of them government contractors. And so we were thinking, and we had a discussion before we started the recording of the show today, that the normal crew complement on a B-52 is 6. And we were talking about the ejection system. And here is a picture of said ejection system. We've got 2 pilots up front, pilot, co-pilot, and then you got a, what do they call these positions back here? The electronics warfare officer, I think, EWO. And I forgot what the other position is. And then, of course, down below, you have the 2 different navigators. We have the regular navigator and then another type of radar navigator or something, I think they called it. Yeah, so the 4 up top eject upwards, and the 2 down below, their seats eject downwards. And yeah, I would imagine you're right about that, Liz, that the civilians probably were in seats that did not have that ejection capability. But it seems to me that this happened relatively in the latter portion of the takeoff roll, or maybe just barely airborne before it crashed. I don't know. We're still awaiting the investigation to figure out what happened here, but it's kind of sad.
Oh, very sad. Yeah. I don't know much about the B-52 ejector seat system, other than they are manufactured, or were originally manufactured, by Weber Aircraft, which is now discontinued its work in this aviation sector, so it doesn't make them anymore.
No.
But so it's not one of the better known manufacturers.
Uh-huh. Okay. Let me put this back, or Liz, if you can put that back up there. I was going to say, because I couldn't remember what all the positions were called, or is it not able to? There we go. So it looks like the co-pilot, pilot, co-pilot, and then the EWO, the electronics warfare officer, and then the other one that's up top there is the gunner. So I guess he controls all the different guns that are mounted on the airplane.
I think there's only the tail, isn't there? Tail gun, and that's actually been removed from the later variants. They don't have one at all.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like they're facing backwards. Yeah. Okay.
So there's only 6 seats, and there were 8 on board. So yeah, you're right, Jeff. A couple of people didn't even have ejector seats to sit in.
Yeah, so they're not based. The B-52s are not based at Edwards. It's mostly just a test facility, and no, it's in about 100 miles to the north of Los Angeles. It's in the high desert. Yeah. Anyway, so our thoughts and prayers go to the families and friends of the people who perished in that. And hopefully we'll have an update on that as the investigation continues. And it looks like, I don't know if AJ is ready to join us or not. Oh, he's saying, just one moment, please. One momento. We're standing by. Or we can keep on going. Give me a thumbs up if we should keep on going there, AJ. Okay. He's given us a thumbs up. All right, so let's continue with this next one. Now, this is an interesting one. Liz was telling me about this because it was. Oh,
Hello.
there he is.
Sorry.
Let's hear from you.
Can you hear me? Hello.
We can.
Hello. Outstanding. I'm here.
Yeah.
I have arrived. My
Good.
new microphone cable is working wonderfully.
Good.
Excellent.
I forgot to ask you about that. And I think I told you that I have the 2 other microphones in the RVS. So when we
Yeah,
get
they were
together and
they were found somewhere. I
have
believe.
some portillos, Chicago dogs, and Italian
Or if
beef.
you're around tonight, we're going to dinner.
Are
I
you?
don't know if you want to try to pack the RVS back up again after the excitement of the weekend.
Yeah. Well, it's running. Everything is not
Is it
100%.
is it
but
compact
it's,
or is it a wide load?
yeah. It's okay. Okay. All right. So this next one, Liz was telling me about. It's kind of it was a big thing in the news there up in Canada. An Air Canada pilot, Jeffrey Wall, allegedly flew with a fake license, according to police, for nearly 3 decades. I don't know how long it was he was flying without the required license, but he worked for Air Canada for nearly 3 decades. He is facing several charges because the police are alleging he used a fake license to misrepresent his qualifications, flying tens of thousands of passengers on planes he was not legally allowed to captain or fly the captain position. During a news conference on Tuesday morning, Peel Police Deputy Chief Nick Milanovich said details of the investigation read, oh, there he is, look at that, read like a movie script. The 59-year-old pilot, identified as Barrie resident Jeffrey Wall, retired in 2025. Okay, so he's retired now after a 27-year career with Air Canada. And then, according to Detective Sergeant Chad Mitchell, he told reporters, quote, as captain, the accused was considered the pilot in command and was ultimately responsible for aircraft operation and safety during flight. Oh, I'm sorry. There was another quote that I was going to have some fun with, but that's not it. He began his career in 1998 as a first officer, was promoted to the rank of captain in 2009. He flew approximately 900 domestic and international flights on the forged license, police allege, earning millions of dollars of salary over the course of his career. Let's see. The false credentials were first flagged during a routine operational evaluation in March of last year at Terminal 1 at Toronto Pearson International Airport. Oh, now I know why he retired. Anomalies were detected within the pilot license documentation he presented, the investigator added. Let's see. So they have a criminal investigation going on here. Where is that quote I was looking for, Liz? It was like he was comparing it to
Being a brain surgeon?
yeah, or something. Yeah, where is that? Why don't you?
I did the statement that was released by Air Canada, and I'm not going to comment on that. The way I reconcile it in my own mind in terms of how you can explain this to the layman is this is very similar to a doctor that is licensed to practice family medicine that is doing brain surgery in their office.
Okay, I say
Yeah.
not.
It's a bit of a
really
stretch.
so. Big stretch. Well, I mean, you know, he had the proper credentials, a commercial pilot license and everything else, and airline transport pilot license, certificate, whatever, is like the next level. It's kind of like a
one more
doctorate
step.
degree. Yeah, one more step up. But obviously, what he was doing wasn't brain surgery. It was just flying an airplane. And
So
but he
here's
was
a-
doing.
To keep the medical theme, the better
Yeah.
comparison is a vet working on people. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
It's all blood on the
that's
inside
sort of
and
similar, yeah.
fur on the outside.
I'm still no. I don't know.
Vets have to learn an awful lot of human physiology and all that stuff. Heartbeat's
Yeah.
the same. All of those function the same.
Yeah.
But it's a little higher. What's the word? There's more involved. Qualification, yeah, Liz, but like there's more risk, right? If you screw up a cow, it was a cow. If you screw up working on a person, that's worse.
Yeah.
You know what? Back before I went to a panel kind of setup on the show, I was doing the show solo. I ended up interviewing Thomas Salme, the Swedish pilot that had no credentials, no pilot credentials. So that was a little bit more extreme, and he flew hundreds, if not thousands, of flights, and who knows how many passengers over his career before he was finally caught. So this is not quite as drastic.
I would have my own analogy. I would say
Okay, what's yours?
it's like a hedgehog pretending to be a porcupine.
Okay, that's something else.
I got it. Why didn't we start with
you
that?
nailed it right there.
Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Brilliant!
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there was a cost involved. Well, I don't know what the tests are like for airline transport pilot up in Canada, but I know that in Europe, there's like 14 different ATP written examinations you guys got to take or something like that.
Well, it was
Is that
when I
correct?
went through, but that has been sort of condensed down to
Streamlined?
a few bigger ones rather than having separate subjects.
It's only
But-
like 8 now.
Yeah, but it still is. I mean, it requires a lot of time and effort to go through your ATPL because it is a major step up in learning. So, yes, you need to be able to study and have the time to study. It's not particularly expensive, but there's an effort involved. You know what? I can sort of imagine the scenario when that he was offered a command and he thought, well, if I don't take this command, then I'm going to be behind the drag curve. I'm going to be on a lower wage for much longer. Perhaps I could
Or I may never get this chance again.
Yeah, exactly. And having done it, having made the foolish step of forging his license to get it, he could never really go back. He could never really go back and retake or do his ATPL because it would have been nonsense, because that would have revealed instantly that he had got his job initially.
He just goes in and takes it
without one.
again and says, I just wanted to review.
Yeah, that makes sense. No pilot would ever do that.
Yeah, exactly. No pilot's ever going to go through that torture.
That would
again.
give him away so readily if he did that.
But it's a real lapse in judgment, really, to make that kind of step to forge your license and fraudulently fly the aircraft. It not only does it demean all the other pilots around you who have made that step and got their licenses, so you've illegally jumped ahead of them. I think it just is a character flaw that would be something that you would not want as a commander of an aircraft.
That's true. Yeah, on the video, we're looking at sharing the screen of episode APG 077, Thomas Salme, the fake pilot. And I happen to have been in Miami on a layover, and he was living at the time temporarily in Miami as well. So, so the way that came about, Liz, is that one of our listeners sent in some feedback, and he said, "Hey, did you hear about this guy in Sweden that blah, blah, blah?" And I went, "No, I hadn't." And then we talked about it a little bit. And then like the next week after I published the episode, he contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm that guy you were talking about." And I went, "Oh, really?" And then, yeah, we just started talking and asked him, where he was. And yeah,
Are you the real
guy.
fake guy?
He's a real fake guy. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll have a link to all that if you want to listen to that show and that interview. It's like the only interview I think I've done.
I wonder
On
what
the,
the penalty is.
I don't know. Yeah, because he's already, I mean, he's no longer actively flying anyway, right? He's retired.
No.
Yeah. Good question, though. All right, let's continue. Oh, we have some. All right, so I'm going to have to, because I've been doing all this other extraneous screen sharing, I need to reshare. Share screen and window, and we're going to go here and look at this one right here. And then we're going to do this. Yeah, I should probably, well, you know what? I think that this video kind of sets it up pretty, gives us the context. So let's go ahead and go with this next news item.
What started as a joke for one passenger ended terribly for two pilots at one of the world's largest airlines.
A federal whistleblower hearing is underway in a case involving a fired United Airlines captain who says she was let go after reporting a cockpit security violation during a charter flight in April 2024.
All right, let's break this all down here. Our Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot May-Kay Beeler is here to explain. May-Kay, what happened?
All right, let me try to make it clear.
Okay.
If you have any questions, let me know. So the passenger was a coach for the Colorado Rockies baseball team. The plane was a United Airlines Boeing 757. It was a charter flight. I'll explain the difference between that and an airline flight in a minute. It was carrying the team from Denver to Toronto. Now, during the flight, the coach was filmed sitting in the captain's seat while the aircraft was in cruise flight. This is a violation of federal aviation regulations. To add insult to injury, alcohol was allegedly involved. Now, the footage quickly went viral online, prompting public outrage and investigations by both United and the FAA. Now, both the captain and the first officer lost their jobs. After the video posted on social media showed the cockpit door wide open, people moving in and out of the flight deck. According to reports, United considers that incident to be a serious violation of company safety and operational procedures.
All right, so the big question is how on earth did the coach end up in the captain's seat?
All right, so the captain, female, got up to use the lav, the bathroom, so she left. Now, on an airline flight, that door would have remained closed with the flight attendant in there with the other officer. But the door's wide open. She goes to use the restroom. While she's in the bathroom, the first officer, in a very relaxed environment, sees the coach walk into the flight deck and sit in the captain's seat. Didn't stop him. You know, like, hey, this is cool, take my picture, take a video. When the captain comes out of the bathroom and sees this, she's like, oh, we know this is a security breach. So the very next day, she filed a report through United's Flight Safety Action Program. It's a report that allows pilots to report mistakes or safety hazards to an aviation reporting system without fear of disciplinary action. All right, it's confidential and it's voluntary, typically non-punitive. The review committee looked at it, accepted the submission with no penalties, but the FAA ultimately decided, this was a breach of security. The pilots willfully let it happen. They know it shouldn't have happened. They knew better. So the pilots were terminated. No action was taken against the jokester coach who was filmed in the captain's seat.
My gosh. All right, you mentioned earlier that this was a charter flight. Are there
Right.
different standards and rules based between that and commercial flight?
Not really. There shouldn't be. So a charter flight might be for a smaller airplane where you and your buddies hire the plane to take you to Aspen or somewhere. It's on demand. An airline flight is scheduled, right? But they use United Airlines, and a big jet like that does go by what we call Part 121 rules. These are stricter rules. They have to follow those rules. So that cockpit door should have been closed. No one is allowed in the cockpit. But on these sports charter flights, it'd be like the Panthers flying on Delta. It tends to be relaxed. Everyone knows each other. So the captain, first officer said, well, there's kind of an unwritten law that we can keep that door open. But according to federal aviation regulations, no, that's a safety hazard.
Okay, so I mean, I can imagine some things of not having access to the cockpit while the flight, the plane is in the air. But why is it that way? Why is it a violation?
So passengers are prohibited from sitting in the flight deck, especially in the pilot's seat during a flight, due to life-threatening distractions and unauthorized control tampering. It's only permitted for certified trained crew and authorized officials. These are strict security laws. They were put in place after 9/11 to prevent unauthorized access and hijacking.
All right, so what's the hearing about?
So the hearing is about the captain feels she was unfairly terminated because she filed that report. She knew that was wrong. Oh, we screwed up. We messed up. We're sorry. This is what happened. But she felt the airline is retaliating against her for speaking out because apparently there had been some challenges on these charter flights where they relaxed the rules. The rules are not to be relaxed, but some people relax them a little bit. And she kind of called the airline out, and she felt she's being retaliated against. You're fired. But United Airlines says, no, this is a serious breach. You don't leave that door open. Anybody can wander in, especially alcohol was allegedly involved.
Yeah.
You can, what's this do? Woo, 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 you know. So anyway,
That's what we normally do.
I mean,
That's the
interestingly,
noise I make every
pilot
time I fly. What are you
was fired,
talking
but the
about?
first officer
What's this thing
seems
do?
like was the one that allowed it to pilot.
First
Jeff's been
officer
with
was
me. He
fired
knows.
too.
Right, but I'm saying I understand why the first officer was fired because they watched the coach sit down, right? The pilot just went to the bathroom, and
I
normally on
know.
a commercial flight, the flight attendants would have closed that door.
That's
so
right.
it
That's
seems like the
right.
pilot did everything that she
Yes.
was supposed to do.
Yeah, I agree, but they said that, well, she had a relaxed attitude also.
Okay.
And that's why the FO or the flight officer felt it was okay.
Listen, we might have to bring Khalif in on this conversation.
I know,
This
Khalif
will
and I
be
were
an
just
interesting
talking
case.
about, I
yeah,
said,
yeah.
Khalif, we should have talked about this together.
Wow.
But you know, willfully, they can fire you for any reason. They don't have to have a reason, or you don't have to have any notice. They can just fire you. So anyway, maybe we'll talk with Khalif about that. But yeah, they're both out of a job, and the jokester coach just had a big old time. in the
Coach
captaincy.
should have stayed in coach.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Coach
All right,
should have
May-Kay.
stayed in coach.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
All right, that was Queen City News in Charlotte, North
That joke.
Carolina.
That joke would have been a lot funnier if one of us said it.
Yeah, it would have been for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll let one of these two gentlemen, and I'm using that term very generously and liberally, go ahead and make their comments first. Okay,
Yeah,
Captain?
okay. Well, you're in a hiding to nothing if you know that there is a company regulation that requires you to keep the cockpit door closed, just like on an ordinary passenger flight, but you elect not to. And from that point of view, the captain sets the tone for what happens on the flight deck. And if she was allowing the cockpit door to be open throughout the flight, then that is the tone she set. The fact that when she went to the loo, the coach came in is a direct result of her policy to allow the door to remain open. In other words, if she obeyed the company regulations, she would have had the door locked, and that couldn't possibly have happened. Having said that, it's very upsetting because I have absolutely no doubt that these were a bit of a good fun flight to get on your roster. You're going to meet some of the great sporting stars that you might well follow. So the captains and, well, the crew are all going to bid to get on with their favourite team, perhaps meet some of the players or even the coaches. So, and because it's a regular event, despite the regulations, you can see that it was an accepted thing that they would have a more relaxed attitude. There's no real security breach because, they know all the players. These are all highly paid people, and the chances of them wanting to hijack the aircraft or do something with the aircraft is extremely remote for that very reason. You could argue that, if a terrorist managed to play good enough sports, they could embed themselves into one of these teams and subsequently hijack an airplane. So there are easier ways to do that.
I feel like there's simpler plans.
Exactly. So by the letter of the law, they and all the other crews that had done this previously should not have ever done it. But the fact that it was sort of an ongoing thing and wasn't stamped on by the company means that it's not just the crew that's at fault here. I bet you that the chief pilot and those in the upper offices knew exactly what was going on, and did nothing themselves to write a memo saying, "Yeah, this has got out of hand. Let's stop this." Sadly, it got out of hand because this event occurred, which in itself, there was nothing that the coach did that put the aircraft in jeopardy, but someone filmed it, and once once it's on someone's phone, it's going to end up on social media, and that means it's going to become something very big. And that was also an error of judgment the captain made by not anticipating this and going, "Oh, it's all very well. Yeah, you can come up and say hello and things, but not during the flight. Sorry." They say, yes, there's alcohol involved. Well, I'm sure that the passengers were all drinking. I doubt very much that they bought any alcohol onto the flight deck. Certainly, to say there's alcohol involved, yes, they may have had a drink or two and then come on the flight deck, which is definitely a no-no. By the way, our company regulations didn't even allow our cabin crew to sit in one of the pilot's seats. Mm-hmm. What more can I say? She will, the fact that she made this report, which I know is supposed to give you an element of, you don't do this very often, and here's my report, and because I've declared it, you're going to sort of go easy on me. The fact that the company then fired her, and it wasn't the FAA can't fire people. They can put pressure on the company, and the company might fire people, but I don't think the FAA could take a license away if they thought it was severe enough. But
so was this an internal United Airlines report that she filed, or was this a FAA
This
NASA
is the
report?
NASA thing, I'm assuming. We don't have it in the UK, so I don't know that much about it. You know about it, Jeff, don't you?
Yeah, that's it's a NASA form, but that's a separate thing. The airline has probably an ASAP safety anonymous safety reporting system as well.
Does
as
that
the
go
NASA
into their own documents, or does that go to the FAA?
That is filed with the FAA, and then what happens is there's an event review committee that convenes, which includes a member of the union, a member of the company, usually from the safety department of the company, and also the FAA.
So it's not completely sanitized. Well, obviously it sounds like it wasn't really sanitized at all.
Yeah, but what it does, it allows for a free exchange of being honest about what happened without fear of reprisal or being fired or whatever. Yeah, retribution.
Right. Yeah, I feel like this situation kind of completely undermines that whole concept of this.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, exactly. So what's the point of having this system if you're going to put in a report and then get fired anyway?
I bet if you look at the numbers of submissions just went like this.
So I think what it doesn't protect is if the crew member is being negligent purposely or criminally acting in a criminal way, et cetera. So there's some gray areas here that don't give you full protection. But when she said the company can fire anybody they want, well, they can, but then of course the union that represents the pilot group will come in and defend the pilot as much as they can. Again, as long as it's not something that they purposefully did negligently or with ill intent, then usually they're protected with the system. But I'd like to say, back in the 90s, I flew a whole bunch of charter flights when I was a 727 pilot, for the Atlanta Braves, and some other teams as well, but mostly the Atlanta Braves. And back then, that was before 9/11, the operation of these charter flights, it was allowed for us. Our policy was, and there was no rule against it, having people come up and visit it. The door was open the whole darn time. We never closed the door. The cockpit door was open the entire time. All the famous baseball players and all the Atlanta Braves pitchers would come up and talk to us and everything else, but you never were allowed to allow them to sit in any of the crew position, the operating crew positions. So they could stand up and maybe even, I think maybe they could, I don't know if that was allowed or not, but sit in the flight engineer seat. But usually they'd sit in the jump seat or just stand up. So that was cool. And maybe this captain remembers back when she was maybe a younger first officer doing these kind of things before 9/11. I don't know. And thinking, yeah, that's the way I'm going to do it too. That's the way we used to do it. And
I got to go up to the flight deck as a kid, on a flight. It was amazing.
And I understand through some other resources that apparently at United Airlines, this kind of thing was like commonplace, even after after 9/11 for the last 2 decades. They've been doing this kind of thing, even though it was clearly against the rules. And I'm thinking that might have been the reason why she was kind of taking a whistleblower role in this whole thing, and maybe there's some retribution against her by the company. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think there are a lot of things going on here that we don't know about.
Well, I can tell you, I'm very, very glad that most of my growing up was done before cell phone cameras were terribly prevalent.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's a world. Yeah, no kidding. There are so many things you probably wouldn't want to see. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see what we got next here. Yeah, we do. Okay, I almost skipped that one. Okay. This next item from, what is this? Travelandtourworld.com. Gulfstream G200 made an emergency landing at La Romana International Airport in the Dominican Republic. Let's see, and I have some video, I think, although I didn't identify it in my notes here. But let me see what we got.
And 2 U.S. pilots
Yep.
are reportedly dead after a plane crash in the Dominican Republic. The country's Civil Aviation Institute says the private plane was heading to Texas when it declared an emergency after takeoff. Minutes later, you can see the jet crash at La Romana International Airport and burst into flames. Now, authorities are trying to figure out what caused the crash. The airport says the 2 pilots were the only people on board. And 2 U.S. pilots are reported.
Stop. All right. Yeah, they. So this is, I think, was their second attempt for coming in for a landing, and it looks like they were. I think this whole thing was precipitated by an engine failure, and I kind of feel like maybe there was something else going on. I don't know, but it seems like they were in way too much of a hurry to get the airplane on the ground because. These things are certificated to fly just fine, especially there was just 2 pilots on board. So it must have been relatively light, even with a full fuel load, I would imagine. This kind of airplane would,
This is saying that they flew around for 40 minutes doing their checklists. So it wasn't.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess there wasn't.
A hurry, I guess.
Yeah. I guess it wasn't really a hurry then. But for some reason, their last attempt, I believe, it was kind of a shortened approach, and they didn't have a nice long final, if I'm remembering this correctly. And they may have been a little bit fast and maybe not quite as stabilized as they should have been.
It looks like they had a tailwind as well.
And a tailwind as well, yeah. So, why? I mean, why not land with a headwind? And they kind of hit the runway at an angle or a vector and kind of just almost immediately went off the runway to the left of the runway. And then once the airplane was on that grass, the unprepared surface, then things went, bad very, very quickly.
When in that video, it looks like that berm or bump or whatever they hit in the grass there was pretty significant because it looked like it sheared the engine off purely from that acceleration.
And 2 U.S. pilots are reportedly dead after a plane crash in the Dominican Republic.
I'm sorry.
The country's Civil
engine's already ripped off
Institute says the private plane.
Yeah. Let me play that again, okay? There we go.
And 2 U.S. pilots are reportedly dead after a plane crash in the Dominican Republic. The country's Civil Aviation Institute says the private plane was heading to Texas when it declared an emergency after takeoff. Minutes later, you can see the jet crash at La.
Anyway, yeah. Had they kept it on the runway, I think those two pilots would still be alive.
Yeah, the damage to the airframe, caused a big fireball. But I've seen a much longer video clip of this on social media, and it wasn't really until they nearly had come to a halt, and at that point, the forward half of the fuselage looked in fairly good condition. Like it was survivable, assuming that that awful bump they had halfway down the crash landing didn't injure them. It might well have done. But as they came to a halt, the fireball just rolled over them, and I guess that just made an evacuation next to impossible, which is such a damn shame, because they got it on the ground, and I realized that they didn't keep it on the runway, which was a damn shame. But if they had, they probably wouldn't have damaged the aircraft so much, and they wouldn't have had the fireball. But having got that situation, they had so much fuel burning that unfortunately it caught up with them.
Yep. All right. So hopefully we'll learn more when the investigation continues.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of airplanes coming down to the ground, this next news item involves a Lufthansa 787-900. No, excuse me, -9. Oh, we don't want to get into that again, do we?
Here we go. You've done it now.
I know. My bad.
Please send your cards and letters too.
Yeah. According to reports, the Dreamliner had logged a maintenance request the previous day involving a landing gear door error message. So it says in this article from I'm not sure which where the news source is. Anyway, on the Boeing 787, maintenance personnel can place the aircraft into a special maintenance mode on the overhead panel and turn the switch to enable. Boeing manuals emphasize that if maintenance mode is enabled, hydraulics are powered, and if the gear lever is selected up, the landing gear can retract regardless of the weight on wheels protection. To prevent this, there's an override button where the gear handle lockout can be bypassed to move the gear handle even if it's locked out. The only way that this can happen is by intentionally bypassing the normal safety lockouts used during maintenance procedures. Okay, so here we go. We have the setup. There's some kind of a door error that they want maintenance to and so maintenance is thinking, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some checking on this, see what's going on with this gear retraction. And so we have a little bit of a...
Hey, Hans, put in the nose wheel pin for us, yeah?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right. All right. Yeah, I'm doing it. All right. Hang on. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, no, I hear the hydraulic pump's coming on. Oh, I better move out of the way just in case something like this happens. Oh, here come the gear doors. They're opening up. The nose gear door is opening up. And, yikes. Boom. Yeah, that's got to hurt.
Excuse me, is that supposed to happen?
I feel like he was part of this process. Like, he knew what was happening. He's like, yep, gear door's opening. Okay, that all looks good. That's looking great. And then, that's not good.
Yeah.
We fixed the door.
The door is no longer the issue.
You won't get that. You won't get the error message anymore.
Did the light go out?
I know.
He nearly got a bump on the head, didn't he? And the door came
I think
down.
they said that there were some injuries involved in this. The flight crew was...
Oh, no. I bet it was the captain.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a secret.
Captain Stefan, our co-host, one of our co-hosts, says that he has some insider information exactly what happened here. So... yeah.
I think we put it... there has been a very similar incident on the Dreamliner, and it was all due to the placement of the nose gear pin. In other words, there's the correct place, and then beside it is just a hinge hole.
You put it in the wrong hole?
Would that be the wrong hole?
They put it in the wrong hole.
Oops.
Now,
sorry about that.
And that allowed the gear to collapse. Now, if there had been a pin in and it was in the correct hole, this would have been physically impossible, because it's a mechanical lock that, despite the activation of the hydraulics, would have prevented the nose wheel from collapsing. So either someone forgot to put the pin in, or again, even though I think there was a modification Dreamliner put out to plug the hole in the hinge or the pivot which someone could mistake the correct stowage or the correct position for the ground pin going in. But perhaps they didn't do that mod or something, I don't know. Or perhaps the bloke who was putting it managed to get it in there anyway.
Yeah.
In the wrong place.
It happens.
I mean, with enough persistence.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's
Poor
don't
old
touch that.
Lefty.
Yeah. We're gonna skip E, and we'll save that for our skydiver jumper dumper.
Oh, yeah.
person.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
That's
So
horrible.
let's go to F. The prelim report on that United Boeing 767-400 at Newark that was landing on 2-9.
Yeah, this is interesting.
And was a little bit kind of low, and kind of interacted with a light pole. And that light pole kind of interacted with the truck. And the only thing I wanted to mention is that I think the mystery right now is kind of sort of revealed, that the wasn't the actual landing gear hitting the airplane, but it was actually the pole, which in turn hit the mystery solved. Oh yes, I'm sorry, the mystery was solved. Anyway, but it's a typical preliminary report where you don't really get a lot of information, just factual information, and they don't draw any conclusions or anything. So, oh yeah, right. So, yes, you're right. They were ducking under, Liz, and if you'll put that, I put a slide in, added a slide. To your keynote. There we go, that graph. Okay.
Yeah,
so they're
that's the
using
interesting one for me as too.
Yeah, the Precision Approach Path Indicator, which is a visual aid to stay on glide path, and it's pretty bad, this graph, because it shows that green line is the standard, two reds, two whites, like right on where you're supposed to be. And then the red line there is the actual aircraft's altitude and distance from the threshold, this displaced threshold. And they kind of go through that normal 3-degree line, and then they go to the 3 red, 1 white line, and then they go below that to the 4 red line, which is really bad. You never want to see 4 red lights on a PAPI system. And then they even went below that, which is pretty damning, I'd say.
Hey, why'd the PAPI go off?
What's that?
So, hey, why'd the PAPI turn off?
Yeah, really. Yeah, I don't see the PAPI anymore. Well, actually, they were the first officer was talking about the speed. I think the captain was letting the speed drop a little bit too low, and then at some point he did mention something about him being low. So it was both speed low and altitude low, and then at some point I think the preliminary report says that he, I guess, got all caught up and everything, and he wasn't able to utter the words "go around." So, yeah.
Now, what was interesting for me, Jeff, was that the skipper said he planned to fly in a 3 reds, 1 white glide path angle.
Yeah,
so he was planning to go, which is not standard, and
no.
And it set off my alarm. So
wow, yeah, there you go.
Indeed,
that's how bad it is.
And the company specifically prohibit that, adopting a different glide angle. And yeah, the point I was going to make was that you don't change your touchdown point dependent on your approach angle. So if you come down on a 3-degree or a 2.5-degree angle for the PAPIs, you're still going to arrive at the runway at the same point. You don't land the aircraft earlier. because they all end up at the Pappies. And in fact, in the last 100 feet, the difference between a normal glide path and 3 reds and a white, or even a slightly high, is a matter of 10 or 20 feet. It's insignificant below 100 feet, that slight adjustment to your glide path angle. So I don't understand why he thought that was going to be a method to ensure that he got the aircraft down on the runway with sufficient space, because I think that was his concern. He was landing on a very short runway, wasn't he? That's to me, that's an error in his thinking. I'm going to come in at a shallower angle because I can land earlier. No, you're still going to land at the same point. You're just going to have a slightly steeper approach to it if you come in on the correct angle rather than on a shallow angle.
Yep. After the accident, on the prelim here, United Flight Operations issued an ops alert that applied to Newark arrivals specific to the RNAV vertical guidance for runway 29. It reminded pilots that the visual glide slope indicator was designed to provide safe obstruction clearance within 10 degrees of the runway center line up to 4 nautical miles. In addition, United Flight Operations issued Pilot Bulletin 26-069 Revision 1 to all pilots that applied to short runway landing guidance. It mentioned that a hazard was identified through their safety management system, that the pilot technique of shifting the aim point of electronic or visual glide path indications, or ducking under, that's what we refer to it, contributes to low approach altitudes during the visual segment into certain airports and runways. It emphasized that all approaches shall be conducted so that touchdown occurs 1,500 feet from the runway threshold, but not prior to 1,000 feet from the threshold, in accordance with their flight manual. So, as you said, Captain Nick, it was already stated in their ops procedures and also in their flight manual that don't do this. You're not supposed to do this. And why the captain thought that was going to be a good idea, and apparently briefed it that they were going to purposely fly a little bit low on that glide slope.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good point, Liz. We're talking about unauthorized
this
people
isn't
in the
people.
cockpit.
This
Well, this is a certain.
Definitely not people.
It's a very special people person. Yeah. So let's see. Let me play this video, Liz. And okay. Oh, who's this guy? Wearing a white beanie.
Is that a rabbi?
A modern rabbi. That happens to be the Bishop of Rome, which position is called by the Catholic Church the Pope. And he's waving at people outside. Who's he waving at? Okay.
The F-18 on his wing.
Let's look
That's
over
what he's
here and
waving
see
at.
what he's looking at.
Like they can see him.
There he is. From somebody back in the back was showing what he was waving at up front. F-15. I mean F-18. Yeah. All right. That's cool. They let the Pope up there in the Airbus cockpit. That's cool.
Does that make that the Pope bus?
The Pope instead of an Airbus.
Well,
it's a
you got Pope Mobile.
Okay. Yeah.
I guess.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, it was Iberian Airways or whatever, Spanish airline. Yeah, cool. All right. Very good. Well, that's enough news, I think, for today's show. And it's time for us to get to know each other here. Here we go. Playing our little bumper there. Getting to know us. It's the time of the show where we get to find out what has been happening with the crew between episodes. And yeah, we took a break from doing the weekly show last week, so it's been a couple of weeks, and really missed my fellow APG crew. And I missed our live audience and all of you out there. We missed you. So I'll start off by saying that the reason that we ended up taking the week off is that I traveled up to Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, for my aunt's funeral, memorial service. And yeah, so I got to meet up on Wednesday. I flew up on Wednesday, and then Wednesday night went over to a nice steakhouse with my two cousins. So these two guys are brothers, and they are sons of my dad's older brother, Dave, Uncle Dave. And so it was great seeing them and getting all caught up, and we had some great food as well. Really had a good time. Yeah, Craig is in the middle, and Kurt is on our right, and of course that's me on the left. And yeah, we had a great time. It was. And
There's
then
a bit
the
of
next
family
day-
resemblance there, if you
Do you
don't
think?
mind me saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then there we go. There's us the next day after the funeral. This is at the graveside, and after the graveside ceremony, we got to, and that's my Uncle Tom, the guy in the front there, and he is the youngest brother. So my dad was the middle son, and Tom was the youngest, and so it was great to see him and my cousins, and yeah. Julie and Stephen and Kurt and Craig and Jeff. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And so anyway.
Yeah, they look like the Sopranos, don't they?
We had a great time. And then, yeah, flew back on Thursday evening because I needed to be back on Friday for 3 masses that I was singing in. One of them a special Sacred Heart Mass, and then 2 weddings, one in the afternoon and one in the evening. So had a lot of singing going on Friday. And then on Saturday, after the Vigil Mass, I went with a friend of mine, Shreyas, and he has some friends. He's involved in soccer and rugby teams, and I believe this was one of his fellow soccer friends' house. And this guy kind of has a catering business, cooking delicious barbecue. Had some amazing barbecue, I mean, yeah, smoked brisket and also some smoked chicken. But, you know, the main event was the brisket. And which, unfortunately, Shreyas, yeah, I'm doing some smoking as well on that cigar. Shreyas bought some cigars for all of us. And yeah, so that's like the one time a year that I smoke a cigar. And so we had some...
Or twice.
Or twice, maybe. Okay. Yeah, so that was the garage of his house where we were. Yeah.
You're still getting those soprano vibes from Minnesota.
Yeah, the soprano vibe. Anyway, so it was great. Shreyas being an Indian guy, he did not have any of the beef brisket, but he did have some of that smoked chicken. It was really good too, I have to say. Yeah, so I had a great week. No, we smoked the cigar after we had the barbecue.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Anyway, although my clothes smelled quite a bit of smoke, cigar smoke, but yeah. Anyway, nothing laundry detergent can't remove.
Would you call that a smoke blend?
A smoked blend, yeah, for sure.
Nice one, Jeff. Well done.
I guess, am I next?
Sure.
Hang on.
Oh, wait. Stand by. Oh, he's talking to the voices in his head again.
Yeah, I know. It's not even Liz.
I'm sorry.
'Cause-
We were having a little private discussion about stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it for me. And now, AJ, it's your turn, sir.
Not a ton happened in the last couple weeks, other than worked my first full mid shift at Hartsfield. Actually took this picture while sitting out on the runway.
Cool.
Kind of came out kind of cool. Tallest tower in North America, 398 feet there at Hartsfield.
Wow.
Other than that, pretty uneventful night. Sat in one spot for about 6 hours and made sure the guys painting the centerline stripes didn't wander off into airplane engines or active runways. Other than that, just kind of, normal stuff, working and working. Pretty much it.
All right. Good deal. Captain Nick?
Well, you guys might have taken a week off, but I can't afford to do that. I've got a wife to keep in the manner to which she's become accustomed, which doesn't include getting mown down by the dog, and then doing some damage to her ankle and her knee. So she's laid up at the moment. Poor lady. She was out walking with a friend who also has a Hungarian Wiesler, and the two of them were running back at full speed to Jilly and this gent who also owns one. And our dog didn't do a very good job of dodging and ran straight into Jilly, knocked her flying. So she went down, and she's managed to chip part of the ankle bone where one of the tendons attaches, so that tendon pulled the bone apart and left a chunk of bone which has to reattach.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's the other issue. That's the one that she has now got a tin knee. And when she went down, she folded it much further than it would normally go. So she was worried she might have damaged the knee. In fact, the knee is sore, but it mainly soft tissue damage.
I really thought that we'd move past tin. I thought we'd gotten into much more space age alloys for joint replacement these
we're
days.
still using tin on the knees, I think.
Yeah, in the UK we can't afford steel. So
That's public health care for you.
Yeah,
Nick opted for the cheap version, I think.
the tin leg, yes. Tin leg. The nice thing about tin is it doesn't rust too much. So
Too much.
Well,
if you use cast iron,
Stainless would have been better, I think. I don't know.
Probably.
A cast iron too. It's a bit heavy, kind of clunk.
Anyway, my
Definitely.
part in this was to take her to the accident. What do they call it? The accident emergency care. It's got urgent treatment centre, I think is what it's called. Where she had to wait until she was seen by the triage nurse, and then and having been triaged until she could see a nurse practitioner, and then she had to wait until the X-ray department had a slot for her, and then she had to wait to have her X-ray explained to her by another nurse practitioner, who basically said, yeah, we can't really do anything about this. You just don't mess it up too much. Don't put too much weight on it for a while. In other words, we're not going to put a cast on it. You're not even going to wear a boot because you don't do it for this kind of injury. Just take painkillers and hope for the best. So, yeah, that's right. Liz is right. I'm waiting on her.
They said no weight on her foot. Liz.
Very good. I did. I got given the list, and I went grocery shopping, and I did a pretty good job. It took me 2.5 hours though, because I'm not used to knowing. I found the wine very easily. I know where that is. Yeah, and I found the smoked salmon as well. That was quite easy. But
those happened to be opposite ends of the store, and then he had to hit the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So that was an experience. Now, because I needed some extra money, I didn't get my regular check from the APG, so I had to go and sell my body to PT UK. So while you lot were taking a week off, I guested on 602, I think it was, show, PT UK.
Nice.
Which was actually great because lovely to see the guys again. Although it was Nev and Carlos weren't there. It was just myself, Matt, and who else? Nick was the other one. So anyway, we had some fun doing that. So that was great. And I am playing petanque when I can because. The petanque is obviously, usually in the morning, and that's when it's my duty to walk the dog, and because Jilly's not walking the dog now. Anyway, I did manage to play this morning, and we are now, look, there you go, Robin and Nick, that's my mate Robin, and we're playing as a pair, and we are number 3 on the club ladder now. So this is, not far to go before we get to the top of it. That would be fun.
Nice.
So that's our aim, to get to the top, even if it's only once. Don't mind that. Try not to fall off the ladder, otherwise we'll end up in the urgent care centre. Now, I had some fun with the show title because that's the next thing now, isn't it? Because we had some excellent ideas, like a turtle on the runway, rocket go boom, pinching the Volvo. Now, I don't know quite why, but there were some connotations that prevented us from using that as a show title. It was voted down, which I thought was a shame. Oh, really? No, yeah, really hard, isn't it? Turtles at the shells. Anyway, and we got a strap line. So here, let me explain. The show was 7-Eleven, so if you couldn't find the show number, I would be a bit unimpressed. And also the logo was not exactly hidden. So there were adverts, as you can imagine, for this 7-Eleven store, and they got the crew on their adverts. And anyway, so you got Captain Jeff 7 days a week, and AJ's only worth 99 cents.
Oh,
now,
that's markup.
Let's just go back one. There's our turtle. So,
look at the turtle over there in front of the shell.
The turtle is there.
Pump.
And and also the penguin and the shell.
I
turtle
love
at
the
Shell
vintage shell
station.
logo. That's great.
It is good, isn't it? I love it.
appropriate.
And the other one is, of course, got Steph and myself, and there's pinching the Volvo. As you can see,
Volvo.
whoever's
Or
pinched
the
the
Volvo being pinched.
they didn't disconnect the fuel pipe, so it's all spewing out the back of the car. That's dreadful. Now, the interesting one, I've no idea what that is, Liz. that was part of the original picture. The interesting thing I thought was, there's your logo and the show number, was the address of this station. So it's 3117 Samuel C. Phillips Parkway. Now, why that address, I hear you ask? Oh, you don't know. Okay, it's the road that goes around Cape Canaveral. And we all know that there was a big explosion on Cape Canaveral when one of the SpaceX tests went awry, and they blew up the spacecraft. So the Cape Canaveral 7-Eleven, which is what this is, obviously was a prime position to take a decent picture of the explosion.
No, you don't get that with any other show.
You do not?
Yeah.
There you go. So Samuel C. Phillips Parkway. I've no idea where 1137 is, but I did find a building that
close
might
to that
be
launch
the
pad, I
7-Eleven.
think.
Yes. Yeah. So that's that little insert on the left of the map there. That's one of those buildings in the top corner.
But it sounds like it doesn't matter where 1137 Samuel C. Phillips Parkway is because it's gone now.
It's not there anymore.
Yes, it probably has, indeed.
Big black hole. Yeah.
Thanks. That was fun.
All right. Interesting. Oh, you know what? I need to mention before we move on, my cousin Craig actually gave me a gift, and I neglected to bring it inside the apartment here to show you, and I'll try to remember to do that next week. But he lives, or I think he lives up pretty close to some of the Boeing facilities. What do you call them? Assembly buildings, that kind of thing, up near Everett, I think. He bought it was like a propeller. Nick, you would love this. Boeing propeller. He goes, yeah, it says and there are probably not too many propeller-driven Boeings around these days. But anyway, so I'll thank you, Craig, for that wonderful gift. And I promise that I'll share it next week, as long as Liz reminds me to.
Excellent. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, Liz, was your idea for the APG strapline. Could you put up the original show title, again, the full one? Because we've got our strapline on the bottom of the artwork, and it is Keeping Aviation Fun and Changing Lives, which I thought was great. What a super strap line for the show. I don't suppose it'll appear on every show title, but I'll try and pop it in every now and again.
And the reason for that was we ended the show with some awesome feedback from Justin regarding the impact that we have made on his life and his career. Yeah,
Indeed.
So,
that was nice.
having fun and changing lives. So that's what we do here. All right. Sometimes not for the better, but we try. Yeah. All right. Coffee fun, sure. All right. Let's see. It's the coffee fun time.
Johnny, how much more coffee?
No thanks.
I love coffee, I love tea, I love the APG community. Coffee and tea and the Java and me. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
Oh yeah, a cup of APG. It's the Coffee Fund, and it's your way to support the show financially if you'd like. It's a free show, and we do it because we love doing it. But if you love it, and you want to give us a little contribution, then we have a mechanism for that, actually, too. One is the Coffee Fund Classic Method, and this week, on this episode, we have a couple of our recurring contributors, George Hollis and Jenny Parkinson. And, yep, Jenny in Rome. And the other way that you can participate in the Coffee Bar Club is to join Patreon. You can become a patron of the show, and information about all that stuff can be found by heading over to our website, airlinepilotguide.com/coffee, where you can learn all about how you can support us financially. And as I said, it's not a requirement. In fact, very few people do, but that's okay, because we're here for the fun and changing lives. Exactly. All right. Let's do the plain tale next. All right. All right. So we're going to, before we head over to the feedback segment, we're going to do, 2 shows in a row with a plain tale. This is unprecedented, or not but yeah, but it's not something we're used to anymore. So what a treat. So the old pilot plain tales, and I just want to make sure I get the title correct here. It is RAF Form 414, Volume 39. So take it away, old pilot.
The Old Pilot's Plain Tales, RAF Form 414, Volume 39.
It was about this time that the company called all the first officers' logbooks in for verification. This was a bit odd, as it wasn't something that was required, but something strange had happened. With the influx of new Airbus airframes, Virgin needed more pilots, and not just to occupy the right-hand seat. There were opportunities for promotion to captain much earlier than had been the norm. When I joined, the time to command was about 8 years. The requirement was that you be a senior first officer, have 6,000 hours jet, and a full ATPL with a Class 1 medical. To get to senior first officer was just 3,000 hours of jet time and 500 hours on type. For many of us ex-military chaps, that meant we very soon got our third ring and were fast approaching the opportunity to try for the left seat. The 6,000 hours took some doing, since particularly in the military fast jet world, getting hours wasn't easy. A good month of tornado flying might accrue 25 hours in 15 sorties. In Virgin, we got that just going to Hong Kong and back. And the sooner we got to that magic 6,000 hours, the faster we could get a command and all that came with it. Honoured by sacrifices, treasures at our shrines, offerings of wine, oil and honey, bathing in holy water, and of course unconditional love. One thing we were permitted to do was to add taxi time to each of our military flights, since we only logged airborne time, not chock to chock like our civilian cousins. The Civil Aviation Authority allowed an addition of 10 minutes per sortie for a fast jet pilot. This was also the time that one of our ex-military first officers unexpectedly resigned from the company. We all speculated as to why this might have occurred, but it coincided with the logbook verification that we'd all undergone. Rumours flew about that someone might have been a bit over-generous and sharp-penciled their hours to get a jump on their fellow pilots. Needless to say, after that we were all very careful with our calculations. Actually, the hours quickly accrued, what with 12-hour Narita legs and 15-hour Hong Kong trips. But to break the monotony, we were offered a chance to fly Air Mauritius's 340s for a change. Apparently the small airline on an island in the Indian Ocean, east of Madagascar, and over 1,000 nautical miles from the East African coast, had obtained a few 340s, but had yet to complete training its crews, so they wet leased Virgin pilots to fly their aircraft for a few months. We got a cash-in-hand bonus and the promise of a 4-day layover in a Mauritius resort hotel with guaranteed seats on the aircraft for our wives or girlfriends should we want to bring them. The route was from Paris, so we also got a day in the City of Love, and then a few days' expenses paid in the sun and the chance to make a little on the side as well. Having enjoyed a visit to the Louvre and a walk along the banks of the Seine, Gilly and I clambered onto a shiny Air Mauritius 340 for the 12-hour flight to the island of the Dodo. Yes, we were heading for the historic home of the dodo, a large flightless bird that was oblivious to danger and easy to catch by the sailors who preyed on them. Although their flesh was considered tough and rubbery, the Dutch called them a disgusting bird. Between 1598 and 1662 they were hunted in large numbers. Their extinction, however, has been mainly attributed to the invasive species such as rats, cats, pigs and monkeys that were introduced to the island by foreign visitors, for which the dodo had absolutely no defence. After a couple of days on a beach in the sun, my skipper offered me a further donation to my penniless pilot pool if I would accompany him on a quick shuttle flight. Air Mauritius flew a daily trip to the nearby island of Reunion, a mere 122 miles away, and we'd been asked to supply a crew. So, leaving Gilly with a suitable supply of cocktails, I donned a uniform shirt and we took a taxi to the airport. Going through the operations department, which was very old school, with a row of briefing officers taking us through the latest NOTAMs, the weather, routing and aircraft technical log, etc. A quick walk round in the sun and we were off. We had a full complement of young ladies in the cabin and not many passengers, and we barely had time to climb to 16,000 feet before we started our descent into Reunion. Here we had a few hours to wait, so we were invited into the first-class cabin to enjoy a first-class meal, impeccably served, and then have an hour of shut-eye before heading back. The only area of concern seemed to be the small biting Reunion black fly. Apparently we needed to get airborne before they started swarming in the evening and to avoid carrying any with us. This we duly did, and with the sun setting it was my turn to fly the aircraft back into Mauritius. Picking a hole in the pink fluffy clouds, I did a visual descent to 1,500 feet and then treated the passengers to a lovely view of the coast as I hand flew around the island, turning onto a neat 5-mile final to land. Having returned to Blighty, a little holiday over, we were having a few issues with the 340 flight management system. Back then it was fairly common to have these small computers go through a soft reset with the small screen on the McDo going blank except for the words "please wait." On whichever side had been affected, the navigation display might go blank with the phrase "map not available." Personally, I would have preferred the message, "Don't panic." This could last from a few seconds to minutes, and afterwards we needed to do a position check to confirm the accuracy of whichever computer glitched, because the flight management computer handled navigation, flight planning, radio nav tuning, performance optimization, and predictions. If the glitch was bad enough, we would have to pull the appropriate FM and or the FMGEC circuit breakers, reset breakers. The FMGEC included the flight guidance computer, which looked after the autopilot and flight directors, and which also controlled the aircraft's pitch, roll, and thrust. So we then had to do some pilot stuff when we lost the automatics. Normally we only lost one, so could rely on the other one to run the show while we messed about. Much more interesting was a dual FM reset, when we simultaneously lost both at once, and these were becoming tediously common. As I've said, soft resets work themselves out, but occasionally it was more serious, as without autopilot, autothrust, flight directors, and map displays, the pilot flying became very interested in keeping the blue side up and not bumping into mountains. The pilot monitoring also became very busy, sorting out how to navigate. Normally, the flight management computers auto-tuned the required navigation beacons. Now this had to be done manually through the backup navigation page of the McDo. When finally accomplished, we had something like the navigation system of a Cessna 172 with a couple of VOR needles and DME range readouts. Having sorted out the aviate and navigate bit, the communicate usually demanded a request for air traffic to give radar headings and to assist navigation. The resetting of both the FM and the FMGEC computers usually rectified the faults, and then after much checking and confirming the position, we could go on our merry way. Such was the case when in the cruise on the way back from Hong Kong, but a much more interesting situation occurred going into Hong Kong's Kai Tak, when the airport lost the use of the IGS, the instrument guidance system. That was really an ILS stuck on top of the checkerboard. And at the last minute, they changed our approach to a VOR DME from the Chung Chau beacon on an island of the same name, down the 045 radial to 5.5 miles, down to 1,040 feet, followed by a visual segment onto Stonecutter's NDB before making the 85-degree right turn onto runway 13. It was at this moment we lost both FMs, and all our navigation aids went out of the window. I was just about through setting the VOR approach up using the slightly unfamiliar backup page when the IGS came back on, and the FM plus FMGEC reset side action came good, and we got everything back. But for a little while, life had been very interesting. Looking back, I did my first sector with Virgin in July 1994, and it was now November 96, 2 years, 4 months later, and I was starting my pre-command training. I'd already done my simulator assessment trip, which I shared with another first officer, Curly. I liked Curly. His face was full of smiles, as it was with character lines, as he'd been around for quite a while and worked for a number of companies. Indeed, he'd been a captain with some of them, so was considerably more experienced in the civil world than me. I'll never forget my first trip with him. I was sitting on the jump seat as a relief first officer, watching him and the skipper, a tall, skinny Irishman, set the aircraft up. It was early days for me, so I was paying very close attention to learn as much as I could from this experienced pair. As Curly was typing the route into the McDo, the captain leaned over and offered a suggestion that he thought might help him. Curly looked up and said very abruptly, "F off, Roy." My hackles rose, but the captain, in his threadbare cardigan he habitually wore on the flight deck, calmly sat back for a while, but eventually he couldn't resist trying again. Again, his suggestion was met by another sharp rebuke. "I've told you before, Roy, just F off and leave me alone." I was stunned, and my mind whirled with thoughts of the CRM nightmare that was developing. I imagined air safety reports and more, while I wondered what I might have to do if things got even worse. Finally, in perhaps a last-ditch effort to help his first officer, Roy leant over a third time. He'd hardly started talking when Curly gave him both barrels in a torrid stream of foul invective that eventually petered out as both of them dissolved into uncontrolled laughter. Of course, it turned out they were really old friends from a previous company and were just pulling my leg. Curly and I were going to be assessed for our suitability to commence command training. We'd share a 4-hour sim session, with us taking turns to sit in the left seat and act as captain, whilst the other behaved as a competent first officer but offering no suggestions to help things along. We knew the kind of scenario that we would be given. It would start with a couple of issues on the ground that we would have to fix or accept. After takeoff, we'd get a third issue that would need dealing with, and finally something big would necessitate a diversion or an immediate return. I climbed into the hot seat first, and we had an engine start problem that we dealt with, and then a flap failure that required a reset of the flap slack control computer to cure that fault. On the climb out, we had another failure, which I think was a navigation downgrade, but not one that would prevent us from crossing the Atlantic. In my scenario, I was on a London to New York flight. As we progressed towards our transatlantic entry point, we passed our usual en route diversion airfields, the ones that I had carefully studied, knowing that this flight had to be complete within the 2-hour sim time limit. With Shannon and Dublin now behind us, we got our Atlantic crossing clearance from Shamwick and started to enter the route system. I was now poised for an issue that would require knowledge of the Atlantic turnback procedures, something I'd studied, when the assessor said, "Okay, guys, I'm going to fast forward you now and put you on the other side of the Atlantic in Gander's airspace." I was somewhat taken aback. All my prep had been centered around a diversion to somewhere familiar, but now I was in Canadian airspace and about to cross into the United States. We were frantically swapping maps around and reorientating ourselves when the sky around us went dark and we began bouncing around in heavy turbulence. Lightning was flashing across the windshields, and we could hear the rattle of hail hitting us. With all that was going on, I wondered what would happen next, but never imagined we would get a simultaneous 4-engine flame-out. We had been turned into a glider. Of all the scenarios I'd heard about from others who'd gone through this sim test, nobody had lost all 4 engines. Without the engines, we weren't just a glider. We were also on emergency electrical power, so had limited screens just on the captain's side, and I was hand-flying to get to the best windmill relight speed of 300 knots Mach 0.82. We backed up the automatic deployment of the ram air turbine and the emergency electrical generator, which is powered by hydraulic pressure provided by the green system, itself powered by the rat. As soon as I got a spare finger free, I also started the APU, knowing that the auxiliary power unit generator would restore a lot of our failed electrical systems. To cram our hectic activity into a few paragraphs is impossible, but suffice to say, with the APU on, the flight deck looked superficially normal, and once below 22,000 feet, we could slow to a better glide speed and use air from the APU to attempt to restart the engines in the same way we did on the ground. I was dealing with air traffic and sorting out a diversion, deciding on Boston since it was close enough. Curly could only get 2 engines running again, both on the same side, so we started setting up an approach. The same mythical storm that we'd flown through now hit Boston, and they apparently lost power to the radar and the ILS, forcing me to do a 2-engine go-around. Now we were faced with a 2-engine procedural VOR approach in deteriorating weather. When we got to minimums and I couldn't see the lights, I had a decision to make. Did I go around or not? I wasn't visual, but the 2-engine committal height, the lowest height it's safe for a 2-engine go-around, was 500 feet, and I was already below that. So I lay neatly between the devil and the deep blue sea. I elected to press on, and came visual a very long 5 seconds later. I had passed, and now it was Curly's turn. I didn't know that this was actually his second go at the assessment, and very sadly he was told he had failed a final time, and I felt devastated for him. He'd held a command in an African outfit, also a well-known German charter airline, so had lots of experience and ability. After a while, though, he left Virgin Atlantic and moved to Virgin Express, based in Belgium and flying 737s, where he easily upgraded and got his much-deserved 4th ring back.
That must be hard to swallow, right? The failing that check run.
And I felt so sorry for him because, when you've been a captain and you've jumped through the hoops with various companies before, and everyone's been very happy with your performance, to suddenly come to a new airline and then end up failing your test before they would even try and train you. Wow. I thought it was a bit rough.
Was that anything particular to the 340, or was it just...
No, they got him on... he got himself wound up when he was flying sims, like a lot of people, a bit like, going to see the doctor and your blood pressure goes up. So he worked very, very hard, and when it was his turn to act as captain, he worked so hard, he almost excluded me from doing anything, because he was right on top of it. He was doing everything himself, though, and kind of not spreading the load and letting me do what would be normal. And that's the kind of area where he was pulled up short. So
that usually doesn't end well when you try.
No, it doesn't. No, I mean, he got a really difficult one. He had to come back with a cargo fire. So that requires a very rapid return, and there was a lot to do in a short period, which I could have helped him with. But needless to say, in a real world situation, I think he would have been a fine skipper, but they never gave him the chance.
Well, it sounds like he recovered from it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can't keep a good man down, can you?
Yeah. Well, another fascinating peek at your logbook, and thank you for that, sir. And now it's time for us to do a little bit of feedback. Here we go.
Captain, incoming message.
We're going to start with some audio feedback from Mike Newman. Here we go.
Are commercial pilots trained as to what to do if somebody's trying to access the cockpit? They're killing flight attendants in the back and going to continue unless you open the door. Are you trained to do anything besides fly the airplane to the nearest airport? Just curious.
Well, Mike, we have so many flight attendants, it really doesn't matter. Just kidding.
Half of them are worthless anyway.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Yeah, so in a Well, I'm gonna defer to my two co-hosts here.
I don't know. It's hard to discuss this without impacting on the areas of security that we wouldn't normally discuss. Suffices to say, I think it's better to get the aircraft on the ground where and put it in a situation where you can't get it airborne again, than it is to try and leave the flight deck to defend your cabin crew. There are the possibility that you would have a marshal on board or a security agent of some kind, or you might even have ex-servicemen or even current servicemen who would be willing to step in to try and save lives. But my personal feeling is that the best thing you could possibly do in the current climate, with all that's happened in the last few years, is to get the airplane on the ground as soon as you're able and put it there so that the hijacker knows that there is nothing he can do with it. He can't go anywhere. He can't fly it into a building and try and create a huge incident that way. And regardless of the awful situation your cabin crew might be in, by far the best solution is to get on the ground where you know you have proper security services to support you. And of course, the ultimate fix is make airport security sufficiently sophisticated to ensure that no one can get on the aircraft with a weapon.
Everything changed that fateful day in 2001, September 11th.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we had, back then it probably wouldn't have been even a thought. We'd send somebody back there to defend the flight attendants and try to take care of the situation, but not anymore.
Yeah, and especially considering that there are usually only two of you.
Yep.
One of you goes back. There's no guarantee that they will be able to do anything that will actually even save a life. And now there's only one of you.
Right.
So what do you do now?
Even that first instance of opening the door is a huge problem in and of itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, from my perspective, the issue is less of a problem. It's all I can do to keep the doors closed on the airplanes that I fly most often, and the odds of someone being on the other side of that door is very slim.
Yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We certainly did get special training for hijacking situations, but as I said, everything changed completely. From the day before and the day after. It's just like, okay, now we understand. Like, nobody had ever tried to use take over an airplane and fly it into a building before that time, and then they went, oh, okay, now everything has changed. So.
Yeah,
it was rare that the airplane was used as a weapon. It was used as a bargaining chip.
Previous policy would be to save lives, and the way to do that was to often accede to hijackers' demands, and take the aircraft where they wanted it.
Yep.
And then Chuck Norris shows up, and
There are a few plain tales about that. The Landshut aircraft that spent days being taken around the world as this poor German crew tried to satisfy the demands of their hijackers. Sometimes it worked out well, and quite often it didn't, because it's very hard to storm an airplane.
You have to figure out the positions that Chuck Norris can get to within the amount of time until you leave.
Sadly, though,
Yep.
he's no longer with us.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about a bygone era.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
were. The Chuck
Well,
Norris
Metrodoc
era.
is asking, don't some pilots carry firearms now? Yes, they're called Federal Flight Deck Officers. However, they are strictly forbidden from, going back and taking care of the situation now. It's, you defend the cockpit. That's the last stand right now.
And from discharging your firearm on the flight deck, but that's happened as well.
Yeah, and try not to shoot it at the captain, if at all possible.
Don't shoot the captain. Don't shoot a hole in the airplane. There's a lot of rules to this whole thing.
All these rules, I mean, they're hard to keep up with.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, thank you, Mike, for the question. And this is from Sam Bolog. I think he's with us. Yeah, here he is. Yeah, he's in our live audience, our live chat. He said, "Hello, my son sent me this. This is what is this? From TikTok?
TikTok, maybe?
I don't know. I can't tell. TikTok or Instagram,
Social
one of those things.
Social
One of the social meds. He said, the comment made me laugh. Of course, the report was done by a journalist. Okay, so we're looking at a picture of an airplane that's on short final. And the caption here says, aeroplane makes extremely low landing at Greece airport. And then Mike kind of replied, a pilot of 60 years experience here. Typically, all landings are extremely low. I tried to do one really high up once, but it didn't work.
Can confirm.
Yeah.
That's great.
Excellent.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Sam. All right, we're going to continue on with this feedback from Peter Tarantelli. A conversation between two Delta flight attendants. So let's see, do I need to... No. Yeah, let's play a little bit. Ready? If you'll put that. Sure. There we go. All right.
Hi, my name is Elise, and I'm Delta's most junior flight attendant.
And my name is Joan, and I am Delta's #1 flight attendant.
First thing I did on my 21st birthday, I was waiting, counting down the days till I could do it.
You have some pretty wonderful things to come. The 787 is coming, and you're going to experience that, and I'm not.
You got to experience the 747.
Well, that's true. Seeing the world, it opens up your mind to new things, new people, that I'm still fascinated about flying. I used to think that it was Paris, but now it's hard to say. It's changed over.
I need to read. So they've done this video so that the questions are not being asked audibly. They're put in print. So what is your favorite city in the world to visit? And that's what she's answering right now.
For time.
I have never been out of the country before, literally anywhere.
Easy.
Window seat or aisle?
Window.
I'm window all the way.
The most important thing is safety. We are the first responders.
Happy International Flight Attendants Day.
Yay! Happy International Flight Attendants Day.
Is that right after International Bagels Day and right before?
I think so. And
well, when's everything
Cat Day?
Bagels
Ice
Day?
Cream Day. And, yeah, I think so. Well, you know that day that you tried to get in touch with me, Liz? I was busy
celebrated
celebrating.
domestic day, but not international day.
All right. Well, thank you.
Some
Peter.
celebrate more than others.
Yes. Any excuse for a bottle of wine.
Something about pinching a Volvo or something. I don't know.
Oh, and that's when it went too far.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. All right,
that
we'll
should have
see.
been our strap line.
Yeah, it should have been. You're right.
There's a joke about straps in there somewhere.
I think 8. Let's do that, Liz. Yeah, okay, let's make sure we cover number 8, and then we'll probably jump back, depending on how much time we have left. Okay, this next one is from John Falk, with whom I met at the PTUK 600 celebration at Duxford last month. And let's see, he says, "Hi, I've just started listening to the APG show for the reason below, and heard Captain Nick's comments about knowing the son of test pilot Roland Beaumont. his financial advisor. Well, I doubt he realized that at the PT UK 600 show at IWM, International, what is it called?
That's the Imperial War Museum.
Imperial War Museum, thank you, Duxford. He also briefly met another son of a famous test pilot in the 1950s and before, Raleigh Falk? Is that Raleigh or Raleigh?
Raleigh, I would guess.
Raleigh Falk. Namely myself, John Falk, so he was the son of the very famous Raleigh Falk. During his flying career, Raleigh flew over 300 different types of aircraft. Wow, that's a lot. That's what I should have had this ready.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's Liz recorded. So he said, you can see a video of my family's involvement in aviation, which I did as a feedback for the PTUK podcast, episode 531. It's a bit long at 10 minutes, but I had a lot to say. Okay, so his feedback during episode 531 was at the 1 hour, 17 minute mark. But he did send us a little snippet of that involving a very famous airplane and his very famous test pilot father. So we are going to now play that for you as soon as I can get it all queued up. Is it this one? Yes, this one. All right, here we go.
Spectators at the 1955 Farnborough Air Show watched in awe as the Vulcan showed off.
Yes, it's Farnborough time again. All the latest and best in British aviation is on show.
Farnborough Air Show every year in the 50s was probably the most exciting event for much of the nation. I mean, they were enthralled to the aircraft industry. There were these huge airplanes, the first Vulcan, prototype Vulcan, glistening white airplane, flown by Wing Commander Raleigh Falk at the Farnborough Air Show, actually did a barrel roll in front of the crowd. It's extraordinary.
Wow. That's John's dad.
The concept
And
of
that
the
is not a
Delta
small
Wing
airplane.
was just so
No, it's not.
remarkable.
No, it's not.
Anyone who looked at it must have thought it was from Mars.
Wow, what a beautiful airplane, that Vulcan.
Absolutely.
It's
You know,
big.
it had a stick like a fighter. It didn't have a control column or anything. It was, and it was originally designed to be a single pilot operation. So it must have been
Really?
like, yeah. The Air Force decided they wanted two pilots in the end because
I think
the
it made one of
nuclear
the
concept of having more than one person responsible for the dropping. But no, it was fantastic airplane. What a great piece
I think it
of
made
film,
one of the
yeah.
coolest noises of any airplane ever. That howl
those
kind of
four
screech that it made.
Olympuses,
Yeah.
Brilliant. And what a handsome father that John had. Lucky man.
Yeah.
Because there
Well,
is
John's a
with his
handsome man as well.
sunglasses and-
I see the resemblance.
I'm looking there. Is that a hunter or what? I'm not sure, but he looks very cool.
Is that similar to the uniform that you wore, Nick? Suit and tie?
Yes, indeed, all the time.
Maybe at,
flying suit
Virgin.
over the top just to stop the dust getting on your uniform.
Yeah, nice.
But actually, yes, some of the test pilots were renowned for dressing up in a suit to fly rather than putting a flying suit on.
Well, that was their flying suit.
Yeah, that it turns out it was the flying suit
Yeah,
of that day.
Indeed.
I'd also like to point out that Farnborough and APG have a somewhat long history. In fact, our very first annual big meetup was at Farnborough in 2016.
Oh, yes,
yeah, the
that's
Farnborough Foray. And then we were back again in 2018. And then also when we did our 500th episode, the English contingent was at a very, very special room at the Farnborough Airport, right, Captain Nick? What was the name of the room there? Or
Yeah, it was. It was part of the Royal Flying Corps' very first military unit there at Farnborough. So it was. I'm trying to remember the name of that it was named after.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
It'll
but it
come
was
to me in a second.
Somebody famous. And Farnborough is just kind of right up the road from where Captain Nick resides there.
Yeah, it wasn't far away from me, so that was great.
Yeah. All right. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. We're being directed by our producer now to head over to feedback number 12. This is some audio feedback from Errol Yurtkuran. It's entitled Getting to Know Us, listener version. Ah, okay. Well, he wants in on some of this fun, I guess. Okay, here we go. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello, Captain Jeff, Captain Nick, AJ, Dr. Steph, and Nick. Consider this a Getting to Know Us listener edition. I started flying with the Yellow Jacket Flying Club while at Georgia Tech. After graduation, I moved to Fort Lauderdale, where I completed my private pilot's license. Moved on to Fort Worth and to Richmond, Virginia, all the while flying as often as I could. But then, as life evolved with career, marriage, and family, I found myself going almost 20 years without flying. Well, that's not entirely accurate. I flew a ton on Acme, even becoming a 2 million miler, but I digress.
Wow.
I started going to Oshkosh in 2018 when I began to rekindle my love for general aviation. As the saying goes, you attend AirVenture for the aviation, but you return for the friends you make there. Fast forward to last autumn, I found myself in the fortunate position to buy a new-to-me airplane. The plane was based at Southern Pines, North Carolina, where it stayed while I completed my flight review and transition training, which took about 14 hours of dual instruction. With weather and schedule challenges, after all, my CFI is a Acme 7576 first officer, it took until early May to get my flight review signed off. So once again, I'm a legal pilot. I've since relocated the plane to Greensboro, having a blast flying again, and will begin instrument training soon. Tying this back to APG, what are your thoughts on a fly-in, drive-in APG meetup this fall? I'm thinking Triple Tree in South Carolina would be a terrific spot midway between Atlanta and Greensboro. Perhaps we could brainstorm this some more over beers at Oshkosh. Thanks for letting me share this with all of you. Wishing everyone tailwinds and well-hopped beer.
Ooh. Yeah, you gotta make sure you bring the Funyuns to Oshkosh, so to accompany the finely well-hopped beers. What? Oh, to the meetup. Well, I think he should take them up to Oshkosh as well.
Yeah, we need Funyuns to plan to where to bring the Funyuns.
Exactly. See?
Makes total sense.
We're on the same channel.
With all these Funyuns, you guys are going to end up having a dreadful incident.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. We'll have to be careful. Yeah, we'll just don't
Well,
line
yeah,
those
don't let
suckers
them
up.
line up. Yeah.
Yeah. So congratulations to getting back into flying, Errol. That's awesome.
Yeah, well done. Good job.
Yeah. And yeah, but I love the idea about some kind of a fly-in between Greensboro and drive-in. Yeah, so the RVS probably needs to be there as well. So yeah, very good.
You might have to rough that one, Jeff. The tent camping at Triple Tree is a blast as well. It can be done in a short week. You don't need a week like Oshkosh.
I'm too old for roughing it. Sorry. Okay.
By the way,
yes, ma'am?
Trenchard.
Oh,
I couldn't remember there for a second. You caught me on the hop, so yes.
Sorry.
He was the father of the Royal Air Force, and of course that's who they named that room after.
There you
And
go.
who was
I
its
knew there
mother?
I knew it was named for somebody famous.
Yes.
And again, I apologize for putting you on the spot there. I don't know. Just thought kind of popped
No,
in my
you
head.
don't.
Yeah. All right.
No, I should.
I get to choose one more. Let me see. Let me look through here. And I'm looking for suggestions from either AJ and Captain Nick as well. Why can't I select this? Okay, here we go. Oh, you know what? Let's just do this one from number 13. This was sent to us a few weeks back. We've been holding it, so we're getting to it now. Augustine Tamagno sent us this feedback. Root Network Visualization Tool for Aviation Enthusiasts. He says, hello, hope you're doing well. My name is Augustine, and I'm the creator of My Flight Routes. It's a free web app for visualizing and sharing interactive flight route maps. I thought you might find it interesting to track your flights. I thought you might find it interesting to track your flights and have an embedded interactive map on your website. Optionally, you can include stats if you want. You can see an example here, and that gives us a link. And I don't know if we have do we have that graphic, Liz? Or no? Okay. Okay. So basically, it's just what you'd imagine: flight routes, little starting points, end points, and looks like Great Circle routes depicted. Just looking at the graphic. And I would have loved to have had something like this, Augustine, when I was actively flying, because I always wanted to kind of share what my trip was and all that kind of stuff. It would have been this would have been very effective for me. But I know that there are people out there that like to keep track of, log all these flights and keep track of this stuff. So, what do we have here? Look at that! Thank you, whoever did that. AJ.
No charge.
All right.
I'm looking at that map. Antarctica is much bigger than I imagined.
Yeah, it's huge. Obviously, Mercator.
It's bigger than the rest of the world put together.
Yeah. Greenland is the size of North America. It's amazing.
Yeah,
and bigger than Africa.
That's the problem that you have when you do a Mercator projection. You take a spherical planet and then you squish it into a flat, two-dimensional depiction, and that does weird things, doesn't it?
Shouldn't some of this be smushed on the back?
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know. Do you have the picture of the backside of this?
Oh, no, this is the only picture I have,
No?
sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, well. Well, we appreciate that. Anyway, Augustine continues, I'd love for you to check it out, and if you find it useful or interesting, I'd appreciate any kind of feedback. Thanks for your time. Best regards, Augustine. Okay, so now it's up to you, dear listener, to check out this link that we have in the show notes. And if you're looking at or using a podcast player that has the ability to show chapter images, you can actually click on that those words there, and it should take you right to this site, and you can check it out yourself. And we'd love to hear some feedback so we can give it to Augustine. All right, I think now it is time for us to wrap this baby up. And we always talk about, speaking of websites, our website, airlinepilotguy.com. Check it out, where you'll find information about the crew and the community calendar. We have merchandise. We have the Old Pilot has a special page there for more detailed information on the plane tales, and so much more. So again, airlinepilotguy.com. And we're also on social media, or what I like to call social medias.
Yep, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/airlinepilotguy. We're on X, formerly known as Twitter, at APG Crew. Instagram as also APG Crew, or if you like to see the sausage being made and all of the background fiddling and things we have to do to get the show out, youtube.com/airlinepilotguy.
Background fiddling.
Hey,
Sounds disgusting.
So it is making sausage, but
yeah. All right. And we also have, speaking of sausages, wet ones, here we go. So you hear the water back there? Yeah, we have this thing called Slack. Hang on. Can you tell us about Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
That's all right. Come on over here and tell us all about it, sir.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas. We suggest episode and Plain Tales topics. We plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
All right. Thank you. My best to your wife. Oh, yeah. There she is. All right. And we would like to thank our producer, curator, Miss Liz Piper, who does all that hard work
Hey,
between
well, Liz,
shows and
thank
during
you.
the show and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, Liz.
My pleasure.
And also our live audience that is with us each and every week. We do appreciate your input and you being there and supporting us. And I think that's going to do it. I think that now it's time for our sign-off. We say, wishing you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. I was going to say
How many times have you done that?
Unlimited feedback.
He forgot.
It's not unlimited feedback.
Yeah, that's
Where we
okay,
say, wishing you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
Talons, Douglas.
You're welcome.
See you next time.
The dementia is starting to
Yeah, getting really
creep on
visible
in, isn't
now.
it?
The memory loss is real.
Well, so Captain Nick, you're right. We need some show title ideas from the chat because I've only got a couple and I think they're pretty.
I only need one that works.
That's the
Okay.
wrong hole.
So yeah, okay. That, Yeah, well, I have the cleaned up version of that one. I've got Dreamliner bows out. Get it? Dreamliner bows out.
Oh,
Dreamliner
okay.
bowed down.
Yeah, bows
Yeah, I was
down.
trying
bows out.
I prefer AJ's.
I know you. Of course you do.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
I have the holy jump seater. Holy jump seater. That's sort of like, you know, he's holy there on the jump seat. That boat
Oh,
tie.
holy
okay.
jump seater. Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
Holy jump seater, Batman.
Exactly. You could take it either way there. But anyway, then we have this would be the easiest art ever, Nick. The title is no comment because of course this is what you guys say when you don't know anything, and you could just have a blank screen with no comment across it, like a big blank.
When did we say no comment?
Well, when you were trying to sort of not say anything that you shouldn't say about
okay.
hijacking and stuff.
Yeah.
You could just have it be a manila envelope that says redacted.
Exactly. Like it just very easy for you. And then unaligned Funyuns. So you keep your Funyuns unaligned there, unaligned.
Oh, that could tie in with the pin in the wrong hole.
Right, aligning up and yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. Sorry. There's no Tim Van Ram here for anything there.
Looks like
I'm sure
Aaron
someone
Traveler had a
comment.
comment, but it was redacted as well.
Yeah. Very
It
good.
was
probably a good one.
redacted.
Redacted, no comment.
Yeah. Looks like the chat room's really fallen down on the job this week. They don't have any suggestions at
Well,
all.
except for Errant Traveler. I mean, he was helping. Thank you, sir.
Well, until the government got involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not very useful to Nick, is it? I guess
Oh,
redacted.
I can make something out of nothing. Don't worry.
Okay, good, because that's what
He
we
does that
got.
every week.
We got a lot of
That's
nothing.
kind of normal.
That's what we're doing here on the show every
Oh,
week.
there's one.
Making
Sam,
something out of
Sam's-
nothing.
Sam's coming in with a late one here,
Or
landing
nothing
low.
out of something.
Landing low.
Landing low.
And you see that applies to the New Jersey thing, and also the funny comment
Ooh.
about it's-
Multifaceted.
It ties two of our stories together.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it's, yeah.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
Can't say what I can't say. What can be said about that?
Be sweet Airbus.
Nothing.
Can't, well,
Definitely.
I think these guys are going to say this a lot, that they can't make any comments when they don't know what they're talking.
Yeah, no comment.
No comment. That's top secret information.
I said to Liz when Captain Nick was talking about that and using that as an excuse, I said, that's what we say.
Yeah.
And we really don't know what the answer is. We can't comment on that.
So you could basically use it a lot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
Standard.
Anyway, thanks guys for welcoming us back after our week off. I think we we're a little bit rusty there, but
sorry we took the week off, but yeah,
life happens, Jeff. Life happens,
Yep,
and
it does.
I'm glad you got to visit with your family.
Yeah, me too. Me
Yeah,
too. It was a lot of
nice.
fun.
All right, everybody, have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Bye bye.
All the best. Thanks.
Bye.